A child with special needs thriving in a supportive school environment, their future filled with hope. Now picture that same child suddenly thrust into chaos, a system ill-equipped to meet their needs, leaving them overwhelmed and vulnerable. Sounds heartbreaking, right? Well, this could soon become a reality for thousands of families across the UK. And it all starts with one tax. Today, we're diving into a story that's causing shockwaves across the education sector. It's a story of children with special educational needs, single parents fighting an uphill battle, and a government policy that critics are calling callous and harmful. The spotlight is on Labour's new VAT policy on private schools, a move meant to generate funds for state education, but one that's sparking outrage among parents and experts alike. Here's why. For families of children with special educational needs, or SEN, this 20% tax hike isn't just about numbers. It's about survival. For years, many parents have turned to private schools as a lifeline. These schools often provide the specialized support that SEN children simply can't get in the overwhelmed state education system. Now, this new tax is making private education unaffordable for countless families, forcing them to consider moving their children to state schools that are already stretched to the breaking point. A group of 3 single mothers is taking the government to court over this. Their lawyer, James Gardner, didn't mince words when he called the tax ideological politics at its worst. He argues it unfairly targets vulnerable families and children, especially single mothers who already face financial and emotional strain. And it's not just lawyers raising alarms. Dr. Richard Soppit, a leading child psychiatrist, warns of dire mental health consequences. He says, and I quote, "This tax will expose vulnerable children to insurmountable stress and mental illness." Imagine the ripple effect: kids falling through the cracks, teachers overwhelmed, and an already struggling system pushed to the edge. Did you know that 1 in 5 pupils at independent schools have special needs? That's tens of thousands of children who rely on the tailored support these schools provide. Critics say the government's claim that only a fraction of students will be affected doesn't hold water. The numbers just don't add up. Parents argue that this policy is a short-sighted attempt at raising funds, with no real plan to reinvest the money in improving SEN provisions. So what happens when these families are forced to switch? Will the state system be ready to support them? Experts say no. The government, however, stands firm. They say the policy will level the playing field and benefit the 94% of children in state schools. But can this really justify the risks to those most vulnerable? This is more than just a debate about taxes or politics. It's about real families and real futures. Are we prepared to let vulnerable children bear the cost of policy decisions?